10. Healthy leftovers that become toxic when reheated. Imagine this. You finish a lovely dinner. Maybe it's a healthy chicken stir-fry with spinach and rice. You do exactly what you've done for 40 years. You put the leftovers in a container, you put them in the fridge, and the next day for lunch, you zap them in the microwave. It tastes fine, but 2 hours later, you don't feel fine. Your heart is racing. You feel dizzy. Your stomach is in knots. Now, meet Martha. She's 68. She walks every day. She watches her salt. But last month, that exact leftover lunch sent her to the ER. It wasn't food poisoning from bad chicken. It wasn't expired milk. It was the spinach and the rice. Martha didn't know that her healthy lunch had turned into a chemical cocktail. She didn't know that the way we reheat food at 60 needs to be very different from how we did it at 20. Here is the hard truth nobody tells us. As we age, our stomach's acid, our body's first line of defense naturally gets weaker. We lose that iron stomach we had in our youth. At the same time, certain foods, when heated twice, undergo a chemical change. They don't just get hot, they get toxic. But you don't have to be afraid of your fridge. You just need to know the rules. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 10 specific foods that you should think twice about reheating. We aren't just going to talk about the dangers. I'm going to give you the safe swap for every single one. Practical, simple ways to save your food without risking your health. Number 3 is something you probably have in your kitchen right now. And number 7. It might be the reason you've been feeling bloated after dinner. So let's clear out the confusion and the toxins starting right now. So let's dive into our first category. I call these the heat-resistant traps. These are the most dangerous because they fool us. We think if I just nuke it in the microwave until it's boiling hot, it's safe. It is not. In this category, the heat might kill the bacteria, but it does not destroy the poison they leave behind. 1. The rice dilemma. Fried rice syndrome. Let's start with the most common leftover in the world. Rice, whether it's white brown or jasmine uncooked rice, contains spores of a bacteria called Bacillus cereus. Think of these spores like tiny seeds with a hard armored shell. When you boil the rice, the bacteria might die, but those spores survive. They are tough. Here is where the trouble starts. If you leave that pot of rice on the stove to cool down slowly, or if you put a giant deep container of hot rice straight into the fridge, you are creating a greenhouse. The rice stays warm in the middle for hours. In that warm, moist environment, those spores wake up. They hatch. And as they multiply, they produce a toxin called cereulide. Here is the scary part. This toxin is heat-stable. You can put that rice in the microwave the next day. You can fry it in a pan until it burns. The heat will kill the bacteria, but the toxin stays right there. And for a senior's digestion, that toxin can cause severe vomiting and dehydration very quickly. The safe swap. Does this mean no more leftover rice? Absolutely not. You just have to change the cooling game. The rule is, you have 1 hour. Get the rice out of the hot pot. Spread it out on a baking sheet or put it in shallow, flat containers. More surface area means it cools fast. Once it's cool, get it into the fridge. If you do that, the spores never get the chance to wake up. Safe to reheat, safe to eat. 2. Pasta, the wet sponge effect. Next up is pasta. It works very similarly to rice. It's a starch. It holds moisture like a wet sponge. The problem with pasta is often the sauce. Cream sauces, butter, and oil create an insulation layer that traps heat in the center, allowing bacteria to thrive even inside the fridge if the container is too deep. But there is another reason to be careful with reheating pasta. Have you ever noticed microwaved pasta tastes gummy or dry? That's the starch molecules changing shape. For many seniors, this gummy texture is much harder to digest and can sit heavy in the stomach. The safe swap. First, follow the shallow container rule, just like rice. But for reheating, don't use the microwave. Try the flash boil method. Keep a pot of water boiling on the stove. Put your cold leftover pasta in a metal strainer or colander. Dip it into the boiling water for just 30 to 60 seconds. This wakes up the starch, kills any surface bacteria, and gives you a texture that tastes freshly cooked without the gummy, hard-to-digest mess. 3. Baked potatoes, the foil trap. Now this one shocks almost everyone I talk to. Foil-wrapped baked potatoes. We wrap them in foil to bake them, and it keeps them nice and moist. After dinner, it's tempting to just leave the foil on, toss it in the fridge, and save it for tomorrow. Please never do this. Here is the science: potatoes grow in dirt. Dirt contains spores of Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that causes botulism. Botulism is rare, but it is deadly. These bacteria hate oxygen. They thrive in anaerobic environments, places with no air. When you leave a potato wrapped in foil, you have created a warm, moist, oxygen-free bunker. If that potato sits on the counter to cool down, the bacteria can produce the botulism toxin. And just like with rice, microwave heat does not kill this toxin. The safe swap. The moment you pull those potatoes out of the oven, remove the foil immediately. Let the potato breathe. If you have leftovers, store the potato naked in a container in the fridge. Never, ever store it wrapped in foil. If you have foil-wrapped potatoes in your fridge right now from 2 days ago, I want you to throw them out. It is not worth the risk. Now we are moving away from bacteria and entering the world of chemistry. This next group contains foods that you probably eat specifically because they are healthy. You eat them for your heart, your blood, and your energy. But here is the twist. Heat changes their personality. When you reheat these items, you are literally performing a chemical experiment that turns medicine into toxin. 4. Spinach and leafy greens, the nitrate trap. Number 4 is spinach along with celery and kale. We've all been told to eat our greens. They are packed with nitrates. Now don't get confused, natural nitrates in vegetables are wonderful. They help lower blood pressure and improve blood flow. But here is the catch. Nitrates are unstable. When you cook spinach the first time, it's fine. But if you let it cool down and then reheat it, especially in a microwave, that high heat triggers a reaction. The nitrates convert into nitrites and then into compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are carcinogenic. They are the same bad compounds found in tobacco smoke. Plus, for older adults, high levels of nitrites can interfere with how your blood carries oxygen. So that healthy leftover spinach stew, it might be doing the exact opposite of what you want. The safe swap. Does this mean you throw out leftover greens? No. You just change how you eat them. Don't microwave the spinach itself. If you have leftover spinach, eat it cold as a side salad. Or if you are making a soup, heat the broth first until it's boiling. Take it off the heat, then stir in the leftover spinach. The residual heat will warm the greens gently without triggering that dangerous chemical spike. 5. Beets, the red alert. Number 5 is beets. Beets are in the same chemical family as spinach. They are nitrate powerhouses. We love them for liver health and blood pressure. But just like spinach, repeated heating causes that same chemical flip, turning good nitrates into toxic nitrites. Furthermore, the iron in beets can oxidize when reheated, which can be irritating to a sensitive stomach. The safe swap: beets are actually delicious when cold. Turn yesterday's roasted beets into today's salad topper. Add a little goat cheese and walnuts. It's safer, it tastes better, and you keep all those heart-healthy benefits intact. 6. Processed meats, the heart health hazard. Now let's talk about something many of us have for a quick breakfast or lunch. Processed meats. I'm talking about bacon, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats. Most of these contain preservatives like sodium nitrite to keep them pink and fresh. Listen closely. When you blast these preservatives with high heat, like in a microwave, you create COPS, cholesterol oxidation products. I know it sounds technical, But all you need to know is this carbs are more damaging to your arteries than regular cholesterol. They trigger inflammation directly in the blood vessels. If you are over 60 and watching your heart health, microwaving a hot dog or reheating bacon is one of the worst things you can do. The safe swap. First, try to limit these foods, but if you are going to eat them, leftovers skip the microwave. Use the low and slow method. Warm them gently in a skillet on the stove over low heat. Or better yet, eat the deli meat cold on a sandwich. Your arteries will thank you. We've talked about invisible toxins. We've talked about heart health. Now, let's talk about comfort. You know that feeling when you eat leftovers, and 20 minutes later you feel heavy, bloated, just off. We usually blame our age. We say, oh, my digestion just isn't what it used to be. But what if it's not your age? What if it's the microwave? These next 4 foods physically change texture and structure when reheated, creating a massive workload for your stomach. 7. Fried foods and reused oil, the inflammation factory. Number 7 is fried foods. French fries, fried chicken, anything cooked in deep oil. We all know fried food isn't health food, but reheated fried food is a different beast. When oil cools down and is heated up again, it breaks down. It releases fumes and compounds called aldehydes. These are inflammatory agents. They irritate the stomach lining and can trigger inflammation in your joints. Plus, let's be honest, reheated fries are soggy and gross. Eating this is asking your liver and gallbladder to work double time to process that degraded oxidized fat. The safe swap. If you have leftover fried chicken, do not put it in the microwave. It turns the coating into sludge. Use your air fryer or your oven. High dry heat, 400 degrees for just 3 or 4 minutes. This crisps the outside without breaking down the oils further. But honestly, if it smells like old oil, trust your nose. Throw it out. 8. Chicken. The protein brick. Number 8 is a staple chicken, especially chicken breast. Have you ever microwaved a piece of chicken and it came out tasting like a rubber tire? That is protein denaturation. The protein fibers tighten up and squeeze out all the moisture. For a senior digestive system, which has less stomach acid than it used to, breaking down that rubber tire is incredibly difficult. It sits in your stomach for hours, causing indigestion. And there is a safety risk too. Microwaves heat from the outside in mostly. If you reheat a thick piece of chicken, the outside might be boiling, but the inside, the cold spot, could still be harboring salmonella or campylobacter. The safe swap: never reheat a whole chicken breast. Slice it or shred it first. This ensures the heat penetrates instantly and evenly. Or embrace the cold chicken strategy. Cold sliced chicken on a salad is delicious, moist, and 100% safe. No rubbery texture, no stomach ache. 9. Mushrooms. The enzyme chaos. Number 9 is mushrooms. Mushrooms are delicate. They are packed with enzymes and complex proteins. Once you cook them, they start to deteriorate almost immediately, much faster than other vegetables. If you reheat them the next day, those proteins have often broken down into compounds that are very hard for our gut to handle. This is a leading cause of bloating and gas that many people experience but can't pinpoint. The safe swap. The European rule for mushrooms is strict: cook, eat, finish. Try to only cook the amount of mushrooms you will eat in that meal. If you do have leftovers like a mushroom soup, reheat it once and reheat it slowly on the stove. Never microwave. But if you notice your stomach grumbles after leftover mushrooms, listen to your body and skip them next time. 10. Eggs, the sulfur spike. And finally, number 10, eggs. Scrambled, boiled, or an omelet. We've all smelled it. You open a container of leftover eggs and it smells, well, smelly. That's hydrogen sulfide. Reheating eggs, especially in a microwave, releases this sulfur gas. It's not just a bad smell. It can be toxic to the gut in high amounts. Also similar to chicken, the protein becomes rubbery and tough. And if you like your eggs runny or sunny side up, never reheat those. The yolk is a breeding ground for bacteria if it wasn't fully cooked the first time. The safe swap eggs are the ultimate fast food. They take 3 minutes to cook fresh. It is always better to make fresh eggs than to reheat old ones. But if you have hard-boiled eggs, eat them cold. Egg salad or just a cold boiled egg with a pinch of salt is a protein-packed snack that is perfectly safe. Just keep them out of the microwave. I know what you are thinking. Martha, that is a lot to remember. Do I really need to memorize a list of 10 foods just to eat lunch? The answer is no. You don't need a degree in chemistry, you just need a system. I call this the Senior Safety Protocol. It consists of just 3 golden rules. If you follow these, you can pretty much eat whatever you want, whenever you want, with total peace of mind. Rule number 1, the golden hour. For years, the government told us the 2-hour rule for leaving food out. That might be fine for a 20-year-old with a stomach of steel. But for us, make it 1 hour. Bacteria double every 20 minutes. By getting your food into the fridge within 1 hour, you stop the bacteria before they can build a fortress. If you are at a long dinner party or a buffet and the food has been out for 2 hours, let it go. Don't take a doggy bag. It's not worth it. Rule number 2, flat is fast. Stop putting big pots of soup or mounds of rice directly into the fridge. The center stays hot for hours. Invest in some shallow glass containers. Spread your leftovers out thin. This allows the cold air to chill the food rapidly, locking out the bacteria instantly. Plus, glass is better than plastic because it doesn't hold on to odors or stains. Rule number 3, one and done. This is the most important rule of all. You can reheat leftovers exactly 1 time. That's it. If you reheat a big lasagna, take out only the slice you are going to eat. Heat that slice. Never, ever heat the whole dish. Take a scoop and put the rest back in the fridge. Every time you heat and cool, you are inviting more bacteria to the party and breaking down the nutrition. Heat it once, eat it all, or toss the rest. Let's do a quick lightning recap so you can screenshot this for your fridge. Rice and pasta. Cool fast or turn into cold salads. Potatoes, foil off immediately. Spinach, beets, and processed meats. Avoid the microwave. Eat cold or warm gently on the stove. Fried foods. Air fry or oven only. Chicken and eggs. Shred for even heat or enjoy them cold. Getting older is a privilege. And taking care of our bodies changes as we age. It's not about being afraid of your food. It's about respecting the chemistry of your body. When you treat your leftovers with respect, you are telling your body, I value you. I want you to last. Now I have a little homework for you. I want you to walk to your kitchen right now. Open the fridge. Do you see any foil-wrapped potatoes? Do you see rice from Tuesday? Throw them out. Consider it your first step toward a safer, healthier gut. If this video saved you from a stomachache, or worse, please hit that subscribe button. We are building a community of wise, healthy seniors here, and I want you to be part of it. And tell me in the comments, which of these 10 foods are you guilty of reheating? I'll read your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay wise, stay healthy.